FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
All right, welcome back in. Happy Sunday. Harrison Arn still on the ones and twos. This is Inside the Huddle, and Jay Foreman will be joining us in just a little bit here to break down Northwestern versus Nebraska. I'll give you the raw details. Like I said, Jay Foreman can break down the bigger details when he gets in here. Nebraska wins it 28-21, and a little bit close there to get things going. At the end of the first half, Huskers were actually down, or excuse me, they're only up by 1 point. Huskers have a big third quarter. They score 14 and then another 7 at the end there to close things out. And I said it, pretty much all week long. Any win over this Northwestern team I thought was going to be a good win. Northwestern, a team that you maybe want to circle as an automatic win, but I mean, they proved that they were a decent team that was going to give you a good shot. Their defense just had a shutout versus Purdue. They had a big win on the road versus Happy Valley. And, I understand that's after James Franklin and crew just lost to UCLA, but I still thought that was a really impressive win for Northwestern to come down there and ultimately be the team that got Franklin fired. And on top of that, like I said, they shut down Purdue to 0 points. And that was the same Purdue team that ran for 200 plus yards all over Minnesota. So this was a good Northwestern team. And in particular, that defense, you knew Preston Stone was going to play a conservative style of game, but maybe there was going to be a pass in there that you could take advantage of. He's walking in there with that 10-7 touchdown to interception ratio. And in that game, he had a couple of interceptions that really sealed things off. Dylan Raiola in that game, 16 for 22, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Nothing incredibly spectacular. He did have a really nice throw in the end zone, but for the most part, still had that 1 pick. He's still kind of in that, I don't even want to call it that midseason slump, but the pass protection was much better. Dylan Raiola was not running around for his life yesterday, and he had some time to deliver some decent balls in there. ultimately, I think the biggest stat in that game was the rush. I mean, Northwestern outrushed us 172 to 152, but it just gives our team a little bit of life when we don't have to just constantly drop back there and throw the ball deep. Evan Johnson had a really good game. Another 100-plus rushing yard game for him. To get his exact stats here, Evan Johnson, 27 carries, so we fed him plenty, but he did well with it. 124 yards. Like I said, he had the 2 touchdowns along of 15 and then 4.6 average. Isaiah Mosey, only 3 carries, but he was actually pretty solid. 28 yards, 9.3 average with a long of 21. Corey Marnie got 3, and that was pretty much the sum of the run game, with everybody else just getting 1 carry in there. And like I said, for Northwestern, their running game was all right. Their main back, Kamalafi, 17 carries, 125 yards, average of 7.4, 2 touchdowns, but he also had that long of 56 to really bump up his stats. Everybody else got 8 carries, 1 carry, 4 carry. Not a whole lot left there in the run game. For Northwestern, it was their tight end. I think people were, again, expecting a little bit more conservative game, and that's what it looked like. Their tight end made some incredible catches. I'll give him that. Griffin Wildy, 3 receptions, 54 yards, long of 37. And on that 37-yard reception, that was, I can't remember who he beat out there on the edge. It was actually really solid coverage, but even just a better catch by the tight end. He had to completely reposition himself, turn around, and kind of lay out vertically in the air to make that reception. So really impressive stuff from their tight end. And like I said, Preston Stone, just not a great game from him. He also had a fumble in there. Fortunately for him, they recovered for it. But it's just a game where Nebraska didn't make too many mistakes to lose it. And Northwestern made a few more mistakes than Nebraska. And that was kind of the message all week, was that this is a game where Nebraska can't beat themselves. With that being said, looks like we do got Jay Foreman hopping in studio with us. So if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, the Starter Human text line, as always, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961 right here on a Ticket Sunday, October 26th, as we recap the Huskers' big win, bowl eligibility already here in 2025. Like I said, after that big win over Northwestern. Next one coming up, they got a night game versus USC. That is going to be the blackout uniforms. I believe that one's 6:30. Could be wrong on that. I'll have to double check. But now it's all on Nebraska to make anything out of this season. 6-2 at this point in the year, puts you in pretty good contention to be a hell of a lot better than what the record was last year. Jay, how's it going on this Sunday?
It's going pretty good. I mean, it's a victory Sunday. Doesn't matter how it looks, it just matter how it gets done. And it's a. I look at it, you can look at it like it's a privilege to be critiqued when you win, because definitely going to be critiqued when you don't play well. And Northwestern was game, and Northwestern probably feels like they let one slip away, but Nebraska was able to make enough plays and kind of battle to the end. Northwestern wasn't going to let you. They're a physical team. They're pesky. I know for a fact Northwestern feels like they didn't play well enough defensively, but I felt like Nebraska made an emphasis on running the ball, and I think Emmett pretty much led the way, especially in the first half. And there were some missed opportunities. You missed a field goal, and our kicking game has been pretty good as far as field goal goes, and our field goal.
That was the first bad miss on the year. I haven't seen bad misses. That was the first one.
Michigan game, right? I think you missed one as well. Yeah. But I think that was a little bit longer and maybe the win. But, look, I mean.
I don't know whose fault. I don't know if it was Cunanan or if it was on the snap. I never saw a replay.
It's very hard It's very hard to make every single field goal. But, you got to make them, right? That's what he's paid to do. And so, look, Nebraska goes in with a 1-point lead with absolutely no momentum. And then Northwestern, quiet as kept, came out of the locker room asleep, and they were able to turn the tide. And
Mike Eckler's special teams
is definitely a difference. And
huge difference all year. How many touchdowns do they have for it? 2 touchdowns on the year? They had the blocked field goal, or not blocked field goal, blocked punt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't count it against that high school team. I mean, I'm talking about when you play against good competition.
Michigan State, we had one, though. Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, but it's
not a high school team.
Their special teams are pretty bad, but the Maryland, and yesterday were huge, and Look, man. I mean, he's one of the best special teams guys in the league or in the nation, and it's an emphasis that Coach Rule wanted to change. I think his attention to detail and his standard of what he wants something to be done, and obviously tremendous amount of energy. And I think it's really won probably 2 games for us already. If you think of the Maryland game, for sure. Both of them would have been kickoff returns. And then yesterday against Northwestern. I don't think obviously it wasn't the very last play, but I think it's the 2 momentum shifts. I think both
Michigan
of them were.
State gave us, because we cooled off for such a hot minute. I don't know what it looks like. We don't get that touchdown, put us to 14.
Yeah,
it was just sitting there 7-21.
It was a big factor, but I think that were you talking about the momentum shifts that you don't expect to happen. So the Maryland game, Maryland scores. They kick off, we score.
I see what you're saying.
Right? So Maryland has all the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit later in the game. And then coming out of halftime, not tremendously, obviously, late in the game, but, going into halftime after going for it on 4th, everybody's probably thinking that you need to go for 3. You go for it on 4th, you get sacked, forced fumble. Dylan was trying to make a play. So it's a turnover, not a bad turnover. It's kind of like, it's just a turnover. It's no different than you miss the field goal, but then you go into halftime with no momentum. And that's 20 minutes to sit there and you could either sulk or figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they knew they had the ace in the bag. And, also I think one of the things you got to give credit for, and in Michigan State was huge as well. So I don't want to minimize it as well, but I think Michigan State, that late third quarter run of big plays and stuff like that really helped out. But in put Michigan State in it, you could say it's 3 games, and that's half your wins came via special teams.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, not via, but
big impact on the game's outcome.
Special teams, at least maybe around here in previous regimes, if you broke even, you were winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you just didn't mess it up, right? We weren't. Heck, we went through a whole season where we didn't even return a kick or a punt. Right?
Yeah, we did. We went through those.
We were just trying to fair catch.
A couple of years,
right? So what you have to think of is the difference is, especially with in this case, Coach Eckler, is that you go into halftime and then he's able to really hyper focus his unit on this is our time. We are actually gonna change this game, and that's something that just can't be glossed over. And obviously, they do a great job of scouting,
mm-hmm.
and putting in a game plan. It is. I think in his press conference, he's like, "We are going to put pressure on other teams, special teams wise." So even with the stuff that he does on punt team, the motions and all that, it takes away from what you can do offensively and defensively if those players are on special teams.
How much wasn't in your head when you're going against teams that the special teams, they're solid
good
special teams and they like to attack you on it? How much do you got to prep for that over the week when you got to?
For me, yeah. I obviously was a starter on defense, and then I played special teams. But you got to put energy into it, and we had a big emphasis on special teams because our special teams were one of the best in the nation. So it was like rinse and repeat. Bring it on. But I can tell you from being in the pros, when you play against a really good special teams player or a special teams unit or a you know what I mean, that it takes away from preparation. That means the coordinators have to have that in the back of their mind as they prepare, because a defensive coordinator, if you're going against a really good kickoff return unit, right? So Nebraska did a really good job, obviously returning kicks, right? So they had 3 kicks for 142, and obviously had a touchdown, and obviously the average return is 47 yards. But Northwestern only had 2 for 20. So just say Nebraska averages 12 yards more, just say 32 yards, and take away the touchdown. So as a defensive coordinator, you're thinking, okay, at least back when I played, the 20-yard line, now it's the 25. Well, now you're at the 37-yard line calling your first defensive, call.
Mm-hmm.
That's if it's just average. God forbid he breaks the tackle and gets to the 40, because now you're playing super passive. We're trying to make them make a mistake, The offense is extremely aggressive because the energy or the momentum and the energy that it gives that unit, whether it's like Minnesota last week, which is probably the most disappointing. You cough and kick it, get it at the 2. That should make those guys come out there and be more energized. Now, where the offense, if they had a big return, then it usually leads to points. So what the special teams has been able to do is not only pull their weight but do their part, and that's what you want. I mean, Coach Eckler came in and obviously well compensated, more than has earned his money.
Yeah.
And this is also one thing I think he's done, what I don't think people know enough, or I don't know if they talked about it enough. I don't really listen to anybody else. Is that the standard that he's had from attention to detail? I guess you could say, attention to detail, toughness, mental toughness, preparation, energy, standard, all that stuff, execution boils over into, like, you're just not going to just go over there and just kind of get through special teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully it just leads back into the other units that you go into, because you can't go from high energy special teams and detailed and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go to offense and chill. So it could really, bring an uptick and standard into the team. And so, hey, it's a great hire. It's worked out well, and it turns a game that could have been an ugly game or ugly loss into an ugly win. And I don't even really think it was that ugly. It was just like Northwestern is going to make you play a physical kind of rock 'em, sock 'em.
It's going to look like every time we play Northwestern.
Yeah, and they're going to play to their game.
That's what I was saying. It's a good win no matter what. Obviously you want it to look great and you want to have a bunch of big flashy plays, but I was like, any win over Northwestern, that's a good win.
Well, and here's what you're not going to be able to do. This is what people don't. I mean, because when you think of Northwestern, even though they've had, the top 15. I mean, they've put a lot of really good players in the league.
Yeah, they had that one year where they took down Ohio State for the conference championship.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about for like NFL
pro
talent.
Yeah.
They had Slater, Skoronski, they had the corner Newsom. I'm talking about just first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
They had the defensive end that got drafted.
They had a lineman too that won the first round.
Yeah, 2 linemen and some other guys that we don't even know about. And then here's what you don't understand, what people aren't talking about enough nationally, because Northwestern, I mean, look, first of all, you go into the season, they're not even talked about in the Big Ten race.
And then they had that game to Tulane, so everyone just took them off the radar completely, and then they snuck back into it at 5-2, and everyone kind of got caught off guard.
But preseason, you're not thinking about.
No.
You're thinking about, okay, can Braun get through the year, right? Because you look at the schedule, look at them. Quiet as kept. In the Big Ten, they got one of the better offensive lines.
Yeah.
All right. And on the flip side, for their talent and their depth, they got probably one of the most productive defensive lines, stat-wise. They have one of the better defenses because it kind of goes hand in hand. Your offensive line is really good. Your defensive line is going to be. So then when you think about this type of game against Nebraska or against anybody, they're in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure if you go back and dissect the Tulane game, and I know I watched the Oregon game, it was kind of like the Michigan State game. They went like a 4 to 6 minute period where they got out of their source and got blown out. Just like when Nebraska was able to turn it on against Michigan State. And I think that, they're playing better, offensively than they were earlier in the year. And so it's a big win for Nebraska to beat a team that you've had trouble with. More importantly, Harrison, it's beat a team that kind of is a replica of the team that you felt like you let yourself down less than a week ago, or just barely over a week ago against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of won 2 victories. You got the mental victory that you could kind of, one, become bowl eligible, beat a team that has given you problems and you were ripe for the picking. A team that got, a well-established, head coach at Penn State. I wouldn't say he got him fired, but that was the last time he coached was a loss to Northwestern.
I think it's fair to say that was they were waiting for that game, but that was the excuse to fire him.
Yeah, it was the final straw, and but so I mean, you got to think a team's coming in riding high. They just pitched a shutout against a Purdue team that literally
ran all over Minnesota.
And then also what you also didn't hear this week, which I kind of was thinking about, is like you were going to get, even though Northwestern wasn't really aggressive offensively and defensively, you were going to get their best shot because they got a bye next week. So they were really going to, empty the tank. And so when Nebraska was able to get the lead early, obviously stubbed their toe, missed field goal, probably could have had that fumble. Riley Van Poppel just kind of squeezed right through.
Tough bounce on it.
But they were able to withstand Northwestern coming back. You're up by 15. They come back, tie the game up, and then Nebraska is able to get it together and convert, I think, 3 third downs, 3rd and 7+. When it didn't, that's high risk, and not high risk, high reward, but it's a lot of anxiety with it because you don't generally get those against a disciplined defense. Or maybe it was 4, because remember it was 3rd and 16 and Lindenmeyer got like a 15-yard pass.
Yep.
So so they came through when they needed to, and then they are obviously able to lean back into the run game to punch it in. So,
well, we got a question for you, Jay, and we'll see if you can answer it. It's probably a lot of money if you can. Colgan J, he says, I think that what blows me away is Northwestern can recruit really good offensive linemen and they have really high academic standard. So why can't Nebraska get some better line, or is it just a lack of coaching?
I mean, I don't know that answer because I'm not in the recruiting department.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know all that stuff. I mean, I know.
What is the key to? I think to you, what has coaches done in the past to put together solid lines like that?
Northwestern's always had a pretty good offensive line.
But what are they doing? Is it a culture thing?
But they've had continuity though.
Okay,
you got to think. Braun's only been there 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it's Fitzgerald, and that staff hardly ever turned over. So you had a line and a concept and a foundation of offensive line. I don't know. Fitzgerald had to be there for like 18 years or something.
It was a long, right? Yeah, it was a long.
So
long
that's
time.
already kind of was in there. Now, I'm not making excuses or whatever. And then, quiet as kept, Nebraska's offensive line was pretty steady last year.
Yeah.
I think this year they got the injury bug, and they had some guys that hadn't raised their level of play to the expectations or the standard that they needed to. And now they're playing. I think they recruit local guys, so there's probably a little bit more of a foundation there. They have a little bit more history. I know
that lineman. That's probably a good squad to go play for too.
I mean, if you're Northwestern, I mean, it's just a little different dynamics. We've had tremendous amount of turnover here. You got to think, as long as Fitzgerald's been there, we've probably had 4 or 5 coaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty close to it.
Because Fitzgerald had to be the head coach when Frank was here.
I'll look it up because he was there for such a long time.
Or close. Right? So
I want to say maybe right after.
Right. So Frank, Bill Callahan, Bo, Mike, Frost.
2006 to 2012.
Okay, so that's
not nearly as long as I thought.
Wait, hold on.
Northwestern had
Fitzgerald was just the coach to 2 or 3 years ago.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What's going on here?
So,
that's the typo. 2023.
Yeah, so it's. So that's a lot of time. 2006. I don't know who was the head coach of Nebraska. It had to be Bo, right?
That was Bo Pelini.
Okay, that was just starting from Bo. So it's Bo.
So 06 to.
So 3. Bo, Nice Mike, Scott, Coach Rule.
Mm-hmm.
So and so what I'm saying is Fitzgerald's been able to kind of put an emphasis on the lines, and that's the way they knew they had to kind of really play their type of like football. And then as far as Nebraska, across the line, I think Donnie's a good coach. I know that it takes. I could tell you, good offensive lines are old, and they're old together. And
I think that's where most people get their stuff in a bunch, though. Is like the amount of starts on this line is where you think you got an older group here, where it's not like a bunch of younger guys. You do get some seniors, juniors in there, and they got a lot of starts between them. So that's
a lot of guys that
that's where I think some fans have a little bit of grievance. But to your point,
playing together is you got to play offensive. Like look at Iowa's offensive line.
Yeah.
All right. Look at Michigan's offensive line from a couple years ago. They had an NFL guy that was their rotational guy. when Zeitler or whatever his name got hurt or whatever, they brought in a guy that ended up getting drafted off the bench. They had been there for years. Now, I'm not making excuses. They were just honestly got truth. And that's, whether it's like Ohio State when they picked up the guy that plays for Kansas City, he was only the guy that you brought in at left tackle, and he was obviously a first-round pick. Everybody else has been homegrown. And so you got to get to the point that where you get some time to develop guys. Now, obviously, you want it a little bit, faster and a little bit more continuity. Some of it's, not necessary. All sacks are not on the offensive line.
Yeah, but that was, I think, the message. I mean, 9 sacks. There's no. If that's all on the offensive line.
I played with David Carr and that offensive line down there. And when you got sacked 70 sometimes, 80 sometimes.
Yeah, not all on the line.
Not all on the line. And it's the easy thing is to blame the offensive line. And there are times guys hadn't performed well. But it's not a sack is an offensive stat. It's hard because for years, this is prior to anybody on this staff getting here. So this is all the way back to just kind of think like probably late, but like even when Bo was here, the offensive line was a little bit porous at times.
Yep.
Definitely porous, especially. I mean, I could tell you where it started. Is when Derek Barnett down there in the Music City Miracle Bowl went down the line and beat every single one of our offensive line for a sack. And then it's just went down from there. And so the offensive line in general gets more criticism no matter what they do. Because nobody talks about that they were actually pretty consistent last year.
Yeah. Well, even yesterday they were solid in the conversation.
Yeah. And when they do well at times, like even like the Maryland game, they got that one, gave up the 1 sack at the end of the half. It was probably a concentration sack, meaning just, finished in the half. They had pretty much time. It's funny, and I'm not making excuses for the offense. I'm just being realistic. Like when they say that the quarterback is holding the ball too long.
Yeah.
All right. You don't hold the ball too long. Well, generally you can because then you can kind of keep running back. But generally when the quarterback's holding the ball too long, he's got a lot of time. Right. And the offensive line obviously played, better enough to be able to run the ball against a pesky Northwestern team. So it's
also mean guys aren't getting open. Right. Like if you're holding on to the ball too long, it means you got time, but the guys aren't getting open. And the receivers played much better yesterday.
Like it all goes together. And I'll tell you this before we go to break. When Peyton Manning was in when I played him, the Indianapolis Colts offensive line was not very good. But you know who made it good? Him. Because that ball was coming out before you can even get to him. And then eventually because they're all young, a lot of them were free agents because Peyton, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and the offensive guy, the big guys were getting paid. So it took a little while for the Jeff Saturdays and all that, the Steve McKinneys and all those guys to get really good. And they had to do a really good job of drafting guys lower and developing into, NFL starters and Pro Bowlers. So it takes some time. But, Northwestern does a good job up front. They do a good job of coaching. Boyle, their coach, is a really good coach. He's been coaching forever. And so they have like, kind of a foundation that they play to, very tight. Their scheme gives a lot of people problems. Their left tackle, that dude is a good. He's all Big Ten. He was all Big Ten last year. He is. The right tackle is pretty good. The center's pretty nasty. One of the guards is pretty good. And they have a little bit of depth because 73 came in. I think when 75 got banged up a little bit. So, those guys have been there for a while. I don't think anybody goes in the portal or, calls those guys to get them out of the portal or get them in the portal. So they're able to develop at a certain rate and able to play well. So, but Nebraska was able to withstand and do well and win the game. And so now it's a bigger challenge this week. And so we'll go to break real quick, come back and put a bow on Nebraska because I want to talk about defensively, the run defense and the big run and how that happens because I've been a part of that. Actually, I've been the reason that stuff happens. And then what they face, potentially coming up against USC. So Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll take a quick break, come right back after this quick break.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Do you want boots that actually feel good on your feet? Meindl delivers premium German-engineered comfort, brought to you right here from Nebraska. Built tough for trails, fields, and everyday wear, and backed by Meindl's Comfort Promise, so you can try them on with confidence. Use promo code THETICKET at MeindlUSA.com, spelled MEINDL, for free shipping. That's MeindlUSA.com. Meindl, comfort you have to feel to believe.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Bonsall Pool & Spa's annual Spooktacular sale is here. Now through November 1st, get an extra $1,000 off hot tubs at an already low sale price and get $500 off the already low sale prices on infrared and traditional saunas. All hot tub water care products and accessories are also for sale for the Spooktacular sale, now through November 1st at Bonsall Pool & Spa at 33rd and Highway 2. Call Call for more info at 402-488-0148 or visit bonsalpool.com.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up, Jay Foreman? Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll take care of all your imaging needs and obviously get you on the right path to hopefully some knowledge, and then obviously a plan for some better days. Defensively, Nebraska, I think I was said on our A1 Automotive pregame show that the linebacker opposite Javen Wright would have to have a big day, and it's a combination between Vincent Shavers and Watson Trent. And you saw Bauer in there a little bit, but more Vincent Shavers had a good day. He had 6 tackles, and always when you look at this stat sheet, I know from experience, generally you play a little, you're more active than what they see. It's just kind of like they're up there from 100 feet up there trying to decide who got the tackle and who made the play. So you were pretty active. Now the big thing in the eyesore was the run defense, and Northwestern came in with 2 capable running backs. Caleb Kamaloff had 17 carries, 125 yards, no losses. So that lets you know that they were pretty efficient in the run game. Now the big run came on the 56-yard run on.
Was that 4th down or 3rd down?
Ooh.
I think it was 3rd down.
It was 3rd and short.
Yeah, 3rd and short.
3rd and short.
And it looked like they were trying to just. If I remember correctly, it looked like they're getting ready. It was like directly under center. Looked like you guys were ready for a QB sneak right up the middle.
He ran it like we used to call it like 12-13 gut. It was pretty much an inside take.
Yeah, the defense caved in.
How that happened? Listen, some of them. If you remember when Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford. Mm-hmm. And when he was at San Francisco, and you probably, he hasn't been with the Chargers long enough, and definitely in Michigan. And I use him as an example, and this is just in the league or just football in general. A lot of your explosive runs come from short yardage situations and defenses because it's real tight in there. And if everybody gets on their man and the running back hits it, he's hitting his head on the goalpost.
Mm-hmm. The defense kind of got to sell out there too and make the play.
Yeah, I mean, you don't practice.
You can't give up a yard, so you're coming downhill at them, and if you miss,
yeah. But more importantly, you don't practice short yardage for hours on it. You do it in period and all that, and you should know and all. But if the defensive line falls down, it gets blown up. I mean, it's a lot of high risk or high reward. People don't come into the game and say, we can't give up explosive runs in short yardage.
Yeah.
Just think about that. It's short yardage. And a lot of times when you see short yardage, it's at the goal line or in the 5-yard line, and you're like, all right, the offense generally kind of like just fall over and get it. Right now you got the ability for linemen to push you in there. That's what happened against Nebraska. I'm going to tell you what, they stopped the direct access of that play at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm.
They actually stopped the cutback. What they didn't do, I'm saying that they did it. Cameron Linhart did too good of a job. He buried himself and literally was bench pressing the tight end or wing back too far down. And then essentially he shortened the corner because the running back had really good balance. And once he hit the outside, because you get lost.
Right.
And it gave up an explosive run. Now it's an eyesore where Northwestern, left Lincoln averaging 5.7 yards a carry. Only had 1 negative yard as far as a tackle for loss, and that's Preston Stone. So that doesn't really count. But as far as conventional run game, Northwestern felt like they did some things, or just as good as Nebraska. But that's where Nebraska's got to take that next step, right? And it's every single detail, every single the Big Ten is so good. The running backs are so good. And you got to think Cam Porter, their number 1 guy, has been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So this is their second and third team running back, and they've been doing this all season.
Yeah.
So They gave Oregon the business. They gave Penn State the business. They gave everybody the business, and it's not flashy, but they test your principles. That's what makes playing in the Big Ten so hard. But you got to still do better. It's not an excuse. It's just the reality is that when you think you're setting the edge or your backside of the defense and you can like kind of just over pursue, nope. These guys are good, man. And so now this is when you talked about the offensive line, it's the same thing with the defense. You have a lot of guys that have played some plays or played a lot of, the games and started, but you got to have that experience of playing with each other. You got to know it. One of the advantages that we had is a lot of guys that I played with and obviously end up, going on to, the NFL and all that. But when we were making our run here, we went through the grind together. We were getting our head beat in by the 93, 94 team. We got to take it out in 94, 95. We were able to do it in 96 or 95, 96, 96, 97, 97, 98. Then it boiled over into 98, 99. It's a process. And so what the hard thing to do as a coaching staff is recruit high school kids, develop them, get them bigger, faster, stronger, hope they're there invested mentally, bring in other guys in a short amount of time and get them in there. And so that's where you got to have good leadership. That's where you got to really be able to operate individually and think collectively and understand I just have to do what I'm supposed. I got to make the play I'm supposed to make and then go play football. And so that's where, that's a learning experience. And that's where even the Minnesota run, they had guys there. There was another big run they had. Linebackers kind of got a little bit out of the gap, or the defensive lineman got out of the gap. And
Taylor's just another one of those backs that'll punish you.
But you
got to run into
like
like 4, 5, 6 of those every season. 7
Stopping
maybe.
the run is 2 things. It's a mentality and / mindset and discipline. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Nebraska's got enough. They're big enough to be a good, so the guys have got to understand that my job affects Harrison. Harrison's job affects so-and-so. It all works together, and including the cornerbacks, including the safeties, including the alley fillers. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where they got to get, tightened up, because now you turn your page immediately. This should be on the USC right now. I think I said after the postgame show, Jay Foreman postgame show, that by 8 p.m. last night, you got to be on the USC. They're all coming off a bye week.
I was going to say,
right? So they've been able to watch this game, right? They've been able to kind of prepare for. I mean, I'm sure they
were hoping you were winning.
Why?
Hey, you want Nebraska 6-2 in here?
Oh, sure. Well,
big win for USC.
It's a national televised game.
Yeah, they want to take down a good Nebraska team and prove a message. They don't want Nebraska after coming off a loss to Northwestern.
Oh, sure. I mean, but more importantly, they want to play good. Their last game they lost, so they lost Notre Dame.
That's right.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do, they had the week to rest and rehab and reevaluate, refocus, and then you're getting essentially. Well, you should expect, if I'm Nebraska, you're getting the best version of USC at during a season. They should be a little bit healthier. Their game plan is going to be a little bit tighter. That doesn't mean that they're going to be defeated, but it lets you know that you got to really amp up your preparation as well. You don't need to show up and worry about a whole bunch of trickery. You got to understand that, to beat USC, I'm going to tell you right now, there's money to be had across the defensive line as far as us beating their offensive line. And then our offensive line has to do a really good job of not allowing USC direct access to our running plays or our passing plays. We do that and limit the explosive plays, we'll be right where we need to be. Special teams, I think we have an advantage. Or I know we have an advantage.
Well, I think that can be true just about every week going forward.
No, but no.
Who's got us beat there?
The top teams have great special teams. Are you talking about the rest of the schedule? Iowa special
the rest
teams?
of the schedule. Yeah, you got Iowa, but we're in the running for it.
Yeah, I mean, no, we'll be fine.
Not in the entire Big Ten.
I just think that we have a distinct advantage, special teams wise.
Okay.
In this game, both in execution emphasis. Oh, and we can make some hay. Now you got to expect USC is going to chore up what they didn't do well, right?
Yep, and then bye week to do it.
But I still think no matter what they do, we'll be fine. I like our advantage with Eckler and his unit. And so there's a pathway to beat USC. And the thing that people aren't saying, it's great that I think NBC's coming in. It's a night game. It's going to be a blackout. So assuming everybody's going to be wearing black, right? We're going to have black.
Yeah, I've been seeing the merch out there. There's
Yeah.
one everyone's starting to get the black merch out for sale. So
also, what makes this game even better? It's essentially winner take all. So the intensity should be amplified to get to this. So for Nebraska to get to this point, okay, you had it kind of a little bit with Michigan. It was kind of like your coming out party, look-see into your program improvement or whatever on a national stage. Now you get to get number one. You get to get your get back on a game that Nebraska gave. It felt like they just needed to get over. Last year against you at USC, right? Got hosed on a couple calls and all that, right? Now you get the little payback, but now you get winner take all. So now we're bowl eligible. So that's out of the way. You don't got to worry about you just lost to Northwestern. It's a must win. Okay, we got all the little cupcake stuff out of the way. We're bowl eligible. Now we get to play USC, who's coming off a loss against Notre Dame, who showed you how to beat them. Physicality against Lincoln Riley will wear this team out, right? And you just played two physical teams, so your knife's a little bit sharper. And then obviously, what's at stake? You know why it's winner take all?
No,
you don't.
I mean, loss-wise?
No, winner take all. So you got two teams, right? Got two losses.
Right.
You can, if you have
one more knocks you out for the playoffs. You talking playoffs? Oh, okay.
So it's winner take all. And it's a helmet game, a blue blood game. I think I'm not sure if USC is going to be ranked starting Monday. Whoever wins this game most likely is going to be ranked. Nebraska then after that puts themselves in a great position to potentially get there.
Go out on the road and then you got UCLA who just took a tough loss.
Now everybody's like, you can kind of, because what happens is, especially in the SEC, in the ACC and all these other teams, they start to kind of like knock each other off.
Right.
And you got to think the Big 12 and the ACC don't have that brand power to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So the teams there can only lose one, right? Even when you think a really good Missouri team that lost to Vanderbilt, I call him Mr. Stand on Business because that's what he told.
Lost by 1 yard. Brutal.
Lost by 1 yard, but when you have to listen to what he's saying. He said, with 2 losses, we're not going to the SEC championship game, but we're still in the playoff hunt. Right? So that lets you know where the mindset is. But if you're 2 losses in the ACC, you ain't got a chance. Florida State, no chance.
Yeah,
right?
unless one of those losses is your non-con Power 5 game.
You're done. Big 12, not a chance if you have 2 losses. So this is where, like USC and Nebraska, oh yeah, if this game ain't chippy, you get what I'm saying?
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it better be fun.
This is what you come here for. This is and this is where I said after the game yesterday. This is the difference between. This is where this is where the maturity is, right? I remember when Frost was here, we played Ohio State. Everybody's like, we're back because game day was here. We got obliterated. Right? The focus was on Kirk Herbstreit and those guys being on campus. That was like that. No. Now the players need to understand that type of stuff is for family and friends, young people like yourself. If I want to go down and partake, you know what I mean? Now, this is why when, Coach Rule and whoever recruited you said this is what you coming to Nebraska for the competition and to win those games and to show everybody what you're made of. This is why. That's why this is a fun game. You know what I'm saying? That's why you almost at the point you really just kind of deal with what you got to get better at from the Northwestern game, and we're on to USC. like now. Like and that's the players more than anything. You know, you don't need to be worrying about how great, you know, all that stuff. Oh, we're on the USC because USC has been on to you.
It's nice to get that bowl game out of the way. Oh, that bowl win.
Oh,
just to have that conversation be done with already. Just now you can't focus
you want to know why
USC.
it's really important?
Why?
Because after the Minnesota game, somebody called in and said Nebraska's not going to win another game the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's at the Maryland. I bet that if they don't win another game, I'm shaving my head bald, so we all good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly. So we all good. Hey, Harrison.
I'm glad
listen, when that game was when that game was 21-21 yesterday, I was puckered up tight. Anyways, we're gonna take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this, man. Jay Foreman inside the huddle. We'll be right back.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford of Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
The temperature and leaves are falling daily, so that means it's time for a new pair of shoes for the fall season from Brown's Shoe Fit. Now through October 31st, take $15 off any regularly priced fall shoes and boots. Brands like Keen, Oboz, Echo, Taos, and Atrex all $15 off. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. This is the sale you've all been waiting for, so get down to Brown's Shoe Fit on 66th and Q. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card. Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Inside the Huddle, Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll take care of all your imaging needs. They got a great team over there, great staff, and also November 11th, which obviously was a few weeks ago. Me, Nick, and Austin were out there representing for the ticket, but then also showing appreciation for AMI and their third annual breast cancer awareness walk. It was really good, a great turnout, great people, great time actually. So appreciate what they do not only for myself, which is with multiple issues, but for everybody else. Throughout the state of Nebraska, they do a really good job and try to be in the forefront of many, many things. So I want to give a shout out to Dr. Razdan, who I call Razmataz, and Dr. Finn. They do a really good job over there along with the crew. But
Nebraska's never beaten USC. Quick side note, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Austin told me that last
3450.
Yeah.
I imagine obviously we haven't had a ton of run-ins, but still.
Still, you would just think that there's back in like 1960.
Yeah, we got one in there.
Yeah.
All right, so more on the line.
USC is very beatable. I'll say they're better than last year in some ways, but I think they're very beatable. I think, if we get rolling offensively, I think when USC played us last year, again, they were coming off a bye week because remember they made the quarterback change. But then I think this was Dana Holgerson's first game calling it against USC on the road, trying to get used to the whole thing. So I think it's going to be a better opportunity. And plus, I think an X factor, which you saw against Notre Dame against USC. Jeremiah Love, I'm not comparing Love, to Emmett, but I think Emmett and the offensive line, there's plenty of hay to be had.
You hope it's a cold game, cold chilly.
It's supposed to be cold all week. And plus,
love it.
Now, tell me this, Harrison. When it's the highest 60, but the game's kicking off about 6:30, does it get colder once it gets a little darker?
I believe that's
what I'm talking about. And then you know what happens though, Harrison? Here's a little sneaky trick, Minnesota trick that helped me when I played in the pros. The ball gets a little slick. When California Bullies don't understand, they don't know the trick to keep the grip. So, hey, turnovers gotta be at paramount, and we gotta hit the quarterback, even though he's a pretty good runner. You gotta hit him low. You gotta chop him down, Harrison.
That's usually the game plan versus USC.
You got to hit the quarterback.
And
we got rolled out coverage, I think, to number 8. He's a pretty good dude. So, anyways, appreciate you listening to Inside the Huddle. Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll holler at you next week.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for